Hey Raiders family, it's Berkey here and welcome to my top 10 versus the Rabbitohs on Sunday afternoon at Dubbo. It's one good thing being in the country. We do like playing country areas. South, I'm not so sure. I think it's far better atmosphere for us being in a nice regional, comfy country town like Dubbo compared to, maybe 10 or 11,000 people at ANZ Stadium. Most of them would be Rabbitohs supporters, but I think we'll have a fair sprinkling today of Raiders fans. So I think that's a bonus already by this game being played at Dubbo. Guys, so welcome to our round 11 Big Bourkeys top 10 preview versus the Rabbitohs. Look, a couple of weeks ago when I was looking at this game, when we were pretty much out of sorts, was looking at this run of the Sharks into South, into Para. And it was fraught with a little bit of danger, I must admit, just because we weren't playing well. But it's quite incredible in rugby league circles how a win can change things quite dramatically. The Canberra game was scratchy, but we got the 2 points. Last week was far, far better commitment and discipline from us. I was at the game, and you could just see how we were playing for each other. And in rugby league parlance, playing for each other is an attitude thing. It's not based on ability or anything like that. It's just a want and a need to be there with your mate and support them. And that's what we did in spades last week against the Sharks. So I don't think we need to deviate too much from that game plan this afternoon. As I said, it's just going to be an attitude thing. How we turn up, we need to start really well and make sure we get on the front foot against the South side that does play on confidence. So let's dive into South. I've picked out 4 main areas. Damien Cook obviously is going to be a big threat out of dummy half. He plays very well left and right of the ruck. His speed's enormous. What Cook thrives and relies on is South winning the ruck. So the likes of Burgess, who I'll cover shortly, Totola, Kalamatangi, Arrow, those types of guys are really important to Cook's makeup in making yardage. If we can blot that down, that yardage game, it really nullifies Cook's running game. They rely on Cook a hell of a lot to get them over the advantage line. So Cody Walker and those types of guys can make their plays with the edges left and right. So I think if we can tire Cook out, particularly by working him over when we've got the ball, so making him do 2-3 repeat sets of tackles, I think is going to be a real bonus and something that we need to make sure that we do and try and target him in defence. He's not a big defender. He's not a solid defender. He does need help. So there are some weaknesses in his game I think we can exploit if we run the likes of Papa, who he hates tackling at him, to Tarpany, just some big bodies through that middle and really work him over when we've got the pill. Tom Burgess at number 2. Now, the Burgesses are renowned for stupid penalties. So I think if we can get him frustrated, make him do rash things, I think that's going to be a bonus for us. He will try and intimidate early. He'll try and get that yardage ground. One thing Burgess does do well, he lands on his stomach most of the time, which means he can get up quick and play the ball. That's one positive he does have. And as I said at the start, if he does that, it allows Damien Cook to get a quick play of the ball from him. So we've got to make sure that we try and wrestle him on his back, slow him down. He's a big man to get up from his back. So we've just got to make sure that we have our wits about us with Burgess, frustrate him. He does have some errors in him, particularly when he gets tired. So we just got to make sure that we work him over as well. Cody Walker at number 3, who I touched on after last Sunday's game, he's going to be their key player. There's no 2 ways about it. Most of the attack, probably 85, 90% of the attack is going to revolve around some way with Cody Walker, either quick shift to the edges, short blind side, and kicking game. So once again, we've got to really muscle up and work from the inside with Cody Walker. If we can put pressure from markers towards him, take the time off he has with the ball in his hands, so he's not dictating which way he's going to go, we're going to put a massive black hole in South's attack. Walker is very effective when the likes of Tom Burgess and Talatoa and Totola win that ruck. That's where he's at his best with a quick ball from Cook. So we've just got to make sure that we really work very hard on the inside with Cody Walker, try and nullify his runs, try and nullify the time he has on his hands to look for his wide players. Cody Walker plays eyes up. What I mean by that is when he's running with the ball, he very rarely looks at his attacker. He's looking at our defenders, and he can see with his peripheral vision who he's going to hit. So if he sees Kotrick coming off his wing, or he sees Raps coming off his wing, he's going to go wide. So we've really got to watch his eyes and see which way he goes to try and bluff him into a pass that isn't on. Number 4 for South, I've gone their back 3, who I must admit I do not rate highly. I don't think they have a solid kick return in there at all. They're not big bodies. So I think we've got a real option there of who have they got there? Blake Taffy, Alex Johnson, and Tane Mill. I think we have a real opportunity there to, exploit their back 3. They're not big bodies. I don't think they return the ball at all. There's a lot smaller than our guys, who I'll cover shortly. So I think if we can muscle in with our kicks and really put some pressure on these back 3, we could be in some pretty good field position to have some attacking raids. Look, let's go to us. Number 5 I've actually picked out for the first one for the Raiders is the back 5. Nickel Clockstad had a great game last week, as did Kotrick, Tomoko. Chris had probably one of his best games in Canberra, in a Canberra jersey, and Raps was Raps. But the size of our back 5 compared to the size of the Rabbitohs back 5, we have some real big bodies here. I really think we can impose ourselves by quick play the balls from quick returns and getting those 5 guys to really aim up and try and go downtown, go straight down Main Street with the South Sydney pack. I think there's some really good yardage we can make if our back 5 can get in a dummy half, get away from the markers, and really try and exploit South around the edges. Number 6, I've gone for Jack White and Matt Frawley. 2 left foot kickers. So Jack's going to play left edge, which means he'll certainly get his kick away a lot quicker. But Frawley at the right edge, I'm a little bit undecided. I think Brad Schneider may be sore. I watched the game last week, and Talakai really muscled up on him a lot in making him doing a fair few tackles against Talakai, who's probably 25 kilos heavier than Brad Schneider. So I think Schneider's probably more sore more than injured or out of form. I think Ricky's maybe just trying to refresh him, but he really got hammered last weekend. Frawley to the right edge, it's an unknown quantity. It is going to have an effect on his left foot kicking game, because if he's kicking this way, because Frawley will be on the right, so he's kicking this way, he's going to have those markers hunting him. So he's got to drop that ball to his left foot, which is closer to the markers getting to him quicker. He's got to put the ball in front of him, not behind, to try and get a kick away. So he's probably going to have to stand more behind the ruck for his kicks, and have some blockage plays from a person going up close to the play of the ball to block those South runners coming through. Once again, Frawley just has to play boring footy as far as I'm concerned. Get his kicks away, hit his edges, which will be Elliott. It'll be probably Matt Tomoko as well as Rap. So he's just got to play pretty boring, not overplay his hand, but just work the side around the field so we get in a good position. Number 7, I've gone for Xavier Coates. Now, I've got to be honest, guys, I don't think Xavier would have got a run last week if Kotrick hadn't gone for HIA. I may be wrong, but I just was trying to scratch my head thinking, where is Ricky going to put him on the field? Who does he take off? Who does he reshuffle? I'd love to see Xavier have 10, 15 minutes today around those big South forwards, particularly when Havili comes on, Liam Knight comes on, those types of guys. I think Xavier sniffing around the ruck can be quite damaging, but it begs the question, who does Ricky shuffle off to get Xavier into the game? You very rarely take a winger off unless they're injured. Shans had a great game last week. I think Shans was really getting back to some good form. He was safe. His runs and carries were very, very good. So I'm just a bit perplexed as to what Ricky will do with Xavier Savage again today. I might be wrong, but I'm just a little bit concerned he may not get a gig just in the way the game pans out. Number 8, I've gone defence, which was absolutely excellent last week. We're pushing up really quick. We're hammering their ball players in. It's what have we got? It's what we have to do with Cody Walker today, is really get that defence up in his face, make him force his passes. Once again, defence is not ability here, guys. It's attitude. It's making sure you're mentally there to turn up, take your man in attack, don't fall for dummies. If we can have the same defence last week to this week, we're going to go very close to winning this game. Number 9, I've gone for Elliot Whitehead. I watched Elliot from afar last week at the game. He struggled a fair bit to get back on side, to be honest with you. He just looked like he was gassed. Yes, he did a lot of work, but he's got to find that second wind a lot quicker and get back in that defensive line because we really need him. The pass that Rapana threw to him when we got the penalty, it was a dead set penalty. It took Elliot 3-4 tackles to get back even on our side of the defensive line. So he looked a little bit gassed. I just think he's now slowing up a little bit to be an edge runner. I do prefer him around the middle with his cleanup work, but hope he proves me wrong today. Number 10, guys, I've gone second phase or offloads. Once again, I think with this big South pack, if we can get a couple of offloads, particularly around Hudson and Elliott, Tups, Josh Papali, those types of guys, I really feel we can make some inroads with second phase play against South. They don't like it. Not a lot of sides do, but particularly this South pack who's missing Cameron Murray. I think it's a real good opportunity to do some, get some second phase play. Other than Jaiara, they don't have a lot of speedy back rows that can clean up a lot around the ruck. So I think that's a real positive where we can maybe make some inroads into South Sydney today. All right, guys, that's it for my top 10. As always, I really appreciate your support. Facebook, hit me up. Twitter, you can hit me up. Bourkeys Top 10 YouTube channel. Love you to subscribe there as well. All the links will be in this video, guys. So as always, looking forward to the game against the Rabbitohs today. And as always, this is Berkey, bleed green, out.